Kelly Day, only on Coin 6 News. People you know.
More mysteries than answers. Investigators pressed the hunt for the Egypt Air Flight 990 voice recorder to figure out why the engines were turned off. Rescue workers in Turkey are searching again for survivors after this year's second killer quake. The Big Apple battle over charges that cabbies are unfair to black passengers. And the Pokemon card tricks that are disappointing some young fans.
This is the CBS Evening News with Thalia Assuris.
Good evening, everyone. It is a race against the weather in the hunt for the all-important Egypt Air cockpit voice recorder. With a stretch of heavy seas moving in tomorrow off Nantucket, Randall Pinkston tells us Navy searchers have little time to lose.
Taking advantage of good weather conditions, the Navy kept Deep Drone and Magnum in the ocean overnight and throughout the day. Still, there was no luck in the efforts of the remote operating vehicles to recover the second black box with recordings of cockpit sounds.
It's vital that we get the cockpit voice recorder. We need every bit of information we can get.
Earlier, NTSB Chairman Jim Hall visited the salvage ships to get a first-hand look through remote cameras. He was struck by the size of the debris.
The size of the pieces of the wreckage seemed to be smaller than we saw in TWA.
A time chart based on the flight data recorder graphically depicts Egypt Air's baffling plunge into the ocean. At 33,000 feet, the automatic pilot disconnected. The plane went into a steep dive. The aircraft reached near supersonic speed of 700 miles per hour, producing weightlessness. Both engines were cut off.
The real central mystery here is why did the pilot put the aircraft into such a sharp, violent descent without any call for distress?
While the search for the voice recorder continues, the NTSB is considering launching a full-fledged team to focus on the human factor.
We can only infer at this point that the pilot was doing this deliberately and consciously. We don't know if the pilot was doing it voluntarily.
Among the human factors expected to be investigated, the emotional stability of the crew and who else aboard that plane knew how to operate a Boeing 767. Next week, the NTSB travels to Boeing headquarters in Seattle, where it will use a simulator to try to reconstruct the final fatal minutes of Egypt Air 990. Dahlia?
Thank you. Randall Pinkston in Newport, Rhode Island. Rescue workers searched through the bitter cold night in Turkey looking for survivors from yesterday's earthquake. At least 362 people were killed in Turkey's second major quake of the year. But Mark Phillips tells us Turkish officials have learned from their mistakes.
Criticized for reacting too slowly during last summer's killer quake, Turkish authorities have been trying to bring rescue and relief workers in more quickly this time. And while it was too late for the victims killed during this earthquake, prompt action has clearly saved some lives of those trapped under collapsed structures. This quake hit an area about 40 miles east of last summer's disaster. The area is less densely populated, so the death toll seems destined to run into the hundreds, not thousands. But once again, many buildings appear not to have been built strongly enough to withstand earthquakes in an area known for seismic activity. Foreign rescue teams are again being moved in. This one from Fairfax County, Virginia, left for Turkey today. Team members rescued 4 people from the rubble last time. They'll join European teams who have already arrived.
I just circled around the city, and there's an awful lot of buildings down. There's a lot of people actually on top of those buildings carrying out searches.
And they'll have to work quickly. If heat was a problem last summer, extreme cold is the potential killer this time. Temperatures have been dropping into the 30s at night. Those trapped and those now left homeless and out in the open need help fast. Mark Phillips, CBS News, London.
Back here now, a new report on the state of Black America brings good news and bad. The Urban League says the nation's booming economy has led African Americans to their highest income levels ever. But the president of the civil rights group says, quote, income gaps still persist and our children still trail academically. Now, the report concludes that racism is real, and Urban League officials pointed to an effort underway in New York City where taxi drivers are accused of passing blacks by. Russ Mitchell has been out on the streets talking to cabbies and their passengers.
For blacks and Latinos in New York and many other cities, hailing a cab can be a frustrating experience.
I'm Hispanic, and it's so hard to get a cab around here. Is it because this is downtown?
It's a long-standing problem that gained notoriety in New York last week when actor Danny Glover filed a bias claim after several cabs refused to pick him up.
It happens to countless people every single day.
Spurred by Glover's complaint, the city launched an undercover crackdown. In its first day, the sting nabbed 11 drivers who passed up minority fares.
Well, this has been an ongoing issue for a long time, and we really hope that we can bring about the end of refusals, whether they're for destination or whether they're biased.
Sometimes people give a hard time not pay. So that's why people, cabbies here and not pick up the fare.
Many cabbies say the crackdown is unfair because those caught will pay heavy fines and lose their taxi license.
Giving us ticket cannot solve the problem. I never refuse any because
some cabbies, like Zafar, admit they don't like to pick up minorities. He says many often want to travel outside of Manhattan, meaning fewer trips and less money for him.
I pay $100 release every day, you know. That's what a lot of people don't pick it up, black people.
The city says that's no excuse. But many people of color trying to hail a cab in New York will tell you, crackdown or not, there will still be plenty of Zafars on the street. Russ Mitchell, CBS News, New York.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, the scary Pokemon news. Is it real or just more hype? Also, a young soccer player scores in the court, and a father-son story like no other.
What sets some people apart, gives them the confidence to succeed on their own terms. It's no secret, it's the Wall Street Journal. Now you can have that confidence delivered for 13 weeks at just $36.75, just 57 cents a day. That's a 25% savings off our regular rate, which makes now a great time to try this limited time offer. Call now, 800-603-1600. That's 800-603-1600 for the Wall Street Journal.
The jobs of tomorrow are here. Thousands of them, waiting to be filled. But you have to know the fields they're in, and you have to have what it takes to master those fields. Because you can't get the jobs of tomorrow until you get the skills of today. Start by calling ITT Technical Institute. We'll send you an informative brochure on tomorrow's careers and what it takes to get them. Call 1-800-ITT-TECH.
You can't control Mother Nature. Experts report that weather patterns are changing fast, making it harder for anyone to say, a flood can't happen to me. In fact, in the last few years, floods have hit all 50 states. Thousands of victims learned too late that homeowners insurance doesn't cover floods, but national flood insurance does. Even weather experts can't outsmart Mother Nature. So call your insurance agent, or for free information, call this number now.
President Clinton's intervention has helped diffuse new tensions with Mexico. Marine Sergeant Brian Johnston was freed in Mexico today and returned to his California base. He had been jailed for 2 weeks after weapons were found in his car when he mistakenly drove across the border. President Clinton today reported progress in budget talks, which continued on Capitol Hill, but Senate Republican leader Trent Lott blasted Mr. Clinton for blocking proposed tax cuts and said Republicans will try again next year. Well, it may not be a budget battle or a sticky international situation, but in many American households, it is the biggest news. Pokemon the movie has invaded. Our children are entranced. But as Bobby Harley found out, there may not be enough free cards.
Sheila Morton packed up the kids and headed to what she knew would be a jam-packed place. The first Saturday showing of the nation's hottest flick, the kid-crazed Pokemon, the first movie. What she didn't expect was this, a Pokemon trade card shortage, not enough of these to go around, even though one movie ticket promises a limited edition card.
It's a little upsetting that the kids come and they want them, the cards.
The people behind the Pokemon craze blame the shortage on a record turnout for the movie. But parents say they should have predicted the Pokemania, and they should have been prepared. Even one of the movie's promoters, Burger King, has had difficulty keeping its shelves stocked. It's gotten so bad that the movie's distributor, Warner Brothers, warned the news media in a fax. that the special edition cards were running in short supply. An attempt, critics say, to artificially stir up even more media coverage. But it's a marketing ploy that could ultimately backfire.
And I think it's really a dirty trick on kids more than anything else, for kids to go to a movie and with the expectation that they're going to get cards and that there are no more cards. It's really not fair to the kids.
So far, though, kids are packing the theaters, dragging their parents and their wallets along.
I'm the biggest sucker. I have children, and whatever makes them happy, I'm out there to try to give it to them. I'm definitely the sucker.
And for moms like Sheila Morton, that's a role she's more than willing to play.
Got 'em.
Bobby Harley, CBS News, New York.
9-year-old Ryan Taylor didn't score in his soccer game today, but just playing was exciting enough. After a federal judge ruled he would not endanger other players, Ryan took the field with his four-wheeled walker. Ryan has cerebral palsy and played most of the game. The game ended in a tie. There's more to come on tonight's CBS Evening News. Residential schools, modern-day orphanages, or a better way. And forget about an apple for the teacher. How about an interest-free mortgage?
Go around that way.
Thanks, Shirley. You know, Tony, I've been thinking about life insurance again. We pay more for this coffee than we would for extra coverage.
She's right. You know, you can get good life insurance for 39 cents a day.
Probably from someone I never heard of.
Mutual of Omaha. United of Omaha, one of the Mutual of Omaha companies, has a plan where your payments never go up and your benefits never go down.
Good company. But I bet you still have to take a physical.
No. And before you ask, you won't be turned down and your coverage can't be canceled.
How much? And don't talk to me in units.
No units. With this, you know what you're getting. Up to $20,000 worth of coverage.
What, do you work for him, Cheryl?
Actually, we bought the plan before Harry passed away. My husband had this great gift for always listening to me.
Smart guy, huh, Tony?
Call 1-800-428-0400 for your free information. That's 1-800-428-0400. Call now, 1-800-428-0400.
Problems recording your favorite TV show? Let the VCR Copilot take over. The easy, fast way to record your favorite shows. No confusing menus or complicated manuals. Just pick the channel you want to record. And with the Copilot, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, pick the day. 2, set the start time. 3, set the stop time. That's it. Records the exact time and day you choose. Anybody can do it. Never miss a show again. The VCR Copilot.
Available at Big Kmart, Fred Meyer, Walgreens, and participating Ace Hardware.
A big battle in Buffalo. Miami looks to avenge this year's only loss against Flutie and the Bills. Or Junior Seau and the Chargers raid Oakland. The NFL on CBS.
Once known as orphanages, what are now called residential schools are gaining in popularity. Now advocates claim they are an alternative for many of the 500,000 children in foster care. Some states are spending millions building new facilities. Opponents are reacting with horror. 17-year-old Deborah Griffin has a lot to cheer about. She's trying out for the PEP squad, applying to colleges, and enjoying her senior year. But Deborah's school is also her home, the state-run Scotland Residential School in rural Pennsylvania.
We show a lot of love towards each other. We're like a family here, you know.
Her family, more than 350 other at-risk children, primarily from inner-city neighborhoods.
Here. Oh, what's this doing in here?
Deborah comes from a broken home. Her grandmother couldn't take care of her any longer, and after a brief stint in foster care, enrolled her here, hoping it would be a safe sanctuary.
I sit back and I feel like a lot of my friends, either they dropped out of school or they have children so they can't go to school. So I feel privileged.
More than 100 years ago, Scotland started as an orphanage.
Please, sir, I want some more.
Institutions immortalized as terrifying and terrible to the children sent there. What do you like about this room, though?
It's mine.
Yeah?
Everything in it belongs to me.
Deborah says Scotland is not an orphanage.
Maybe if you feel like an orphan, but I don't feel like an orphan.
Yet critics charge that residential schools are nothing more than modern orphanages. Advocates contend they are a nurturing alternative to foster care and say their numbers, currently 25 across the nation, are growing.
Institutional care can be better for kids simply because it offers permanency and it offers security.
Richard McKenzie grew up in an orphanage in the 50s and insists that it's still a better way of life than shuffling from foster home to foster home.
People are waking up to the fact that many kids are being troubled by the child care system that we now have. One is they were disadvantaged by the environment that they grew up in, and secondly, they're being disadvantaged by constantly being shuffled from one foster placement to the next.
The myth of bouncing from foster home to foster home just does not exist anymore.
Siobhan Grayson, who has worked with foster children in Virginia for 20 years, says a family is key to emotional development.
To put them in a situation where it's that regimented from beginning to end can be, it can really depress their ability to grow emotionally.
I'll make it easy.
It's the restrictions of a 2-year stay in a residential school that 18-year-old Sam Ng remembers most of all, and not fondly.
While I was staying there, I felt that it was sort of like locked up.
Sam has been in foster care for 3 years now and says a family gives him what residential care didn't.
You didn't have no family, no mother, no father come tell you, you know, come wake you up in the morning and stuff, things like that. And having the feeling of a family, you know, that's how it was. That's what I missed the most.
Well, what works varies with each individual child, but this isn't a controversy that's likely to end soon, especially when costs are compared. Residential care up to $25,000 per child per year. That's about 4 times the cost of foster care.
It's powerful, it's sleek, it's aggressive, it's beautiful, and it's your next vacuum cleaner, the Phantom Cyclone XT.
I'd never seen anything like it. The thing just started eating up everything.
Extraordinary power. 2 cyclones devour everything from surface dirt to deeply embedded grit, and a certified HEPA filter, so virtually nothing escapes.
I saw that stuff get sucked right up. It's extraordinary.
And no bags. Instead, an easy-to-empty bin. Extreme versatility.
I've never used a vacuum that does what the Phantom does.
Easy touch points in beautiful ice blue. One touch, your handle's a cleaning wand.
You just hit the button and just...
One flick, your tools are at your fingertips. One click, it glides from carpet to bare floors.
It's an extremely easy machine to use. I love the Phantom.
One look, and you're going to love the Phantom Cyclone XT. Call for a free video and see it in action. It's everything your next vacuum should be.
The Phantom people went the extra mile.
Sometimes the job calls for more than just one screwdriver, but you're not exactly sure which ones you need. That's why Sears created the Craftsman all-in-one screwdriver. It has 6 full-size Craftsman quality screwdriver blades built into the handle, 3 slotted and 3 Phillips head blades in the sizes you use them most. Need a different blade? A quick change couldn't be easier. The compact size fits just about anywhere. Almost everyone has a kitchen drawer where they keep tools handy. But you'd have to keep 6 different screwdrivers in there to do the job of the Craftsman all-in-one. It's a great value at only $19.99, and like other Craftsman hand tools, the all-in-one screwdriver is guaranteed forever. Don't want to carry a whole set of screwdrivers? Just take the all-in-one. You've always got the right screwdriver at your fingertips. It's so convenient and versatile, you'll want to take it everywhere. The all-in-one screwdriver makes a great gift, too. Order yours today.
Call 1-800-803-5115 to order the Craftsman all-in-one screwdriver. Call now.
Why do basketball greats Julius Erving, Oscar Robertson, and Dave DeBusschere think Bill Bradley should be president? Plus a debate with House Majority Whip DeLay and Senate Minority Leader Daschle. Face the Nation Sunday.
On the CBS Health Watch this evening, a recall of Sun Orchard orange juice. The company says some 3,700 gallons of orange juice sold under various brand names may be contaminated with salmonella. In Washington State, a cleanup after record-breaking rains. A mudslide cascaded through an apartment complex north of Seattle last night. It did not injure anyone, but left several people homeless. In the high-tech, high-salary Silicon Valley, housing costs are in the stratosphere, which is why San Jose officials have begun a program to help city school teachers purchase homes. Anthony Mason explains why the city says it's really an investment in the future.
Let's make each and every day a very, very special one.
Teresa Ochoa teaches kindergarten in San Jose, the heart of the high-tech Silicon Valley. She wants to buy her own home, but here, where the cost of living is among the highest in the nation, that would have meant either quitting her job or moving away, until now.
The down payment alone is so high. Prices here are just so high. The cost of living is really high. And this is the first time that I've had an incentive to even look into it and consider it.
The incentive is a city program aimed just at teachers. $240 million over the next 5 years in interest-free mortgages, with the catch that the homes bought must be in San Jose. Since an average house in an average neighborhood carries a price tag of $304,000, that's beyond the reach of teachers, who earn less than half of what high-tech workers do. The new program is good for the entire workforce.
The future growth of Silicon Valley is going to be dependent on our ability to grow our own engineers, our own technical people from our own neighborhoods. And having the best and brightest teachers teaching these young people are going to help supply the labor force that these companies need to have in the future.
The big Silicon Valley companies are also chipping in by adopting schools and contributing millions for housing. Their motivation is not so much civic duty as concern over a severe worker shortage. Competition is high in the computer industry, and workers go where the better offers are. Good schools as well as affordable homes play a huge role in job choice. It's estimated that the shortage of workers is costing the industry here at least $3 billion a year.
There's a digital gold rush going on, and with any gold rush, there's positives and there's negatives. Much like you found school teachers and bankers, etc., leaving San Francisco during the 49ers days to go pan gold, we have the same issue today with people going to pan internet gold.
Teresa Ochoa says this program will keep her in San Jose teaching instead of training for a higher-paying computer job. That's good news for a city that needs an educated workforce if it's to keep in the front ranks of the digital revolution.
Wow, you guys are good.
Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
Next up on the CBS Evening News, a down-to-earth story in an out-of-this-world place.
Now celebrate the 60s with this incredible photo collection and music CD, free from Time Life. Here's how.
Larry King for Time Life.
Here's a photo of me with my gang, the Warriors, back in 1950. Photos like this always bring back memories of my years in Brooklyn, but let me tell you, this new book by Time Life, The 50s, really takes me home. It's part of our American century, a decade-by-decade scrapbook of our lives. What we drove, how we looked, who made us laugh and captured our hearts. It's all we experienced together. It's just incredible. Whether you're 19 or 90, you're part of this story, and Time Life captured it all. Turning the pages, you'll experience what life was like and see how we came to be who we are today. Each decade is filled with treasures only Time Life could bring you.
Call now to order the 50s for just $9.99. Use your credit card and get the 60s free, plus a free CD of 33 greatest hits of the 60s. That's a $55 value for just $9.99.
If the 50s defined our innocence, the 60s saw us come of age. And it's all here, from the voices and the struggles to the movies and the music that started a revolution.
Call now to order the 50s for just $9.99. Use your credit card and get the 60s free, plus a free CD of 33 greatest hits of the 60s. And there's more. Call right now and get a free commemorative calendar. Then examine other decades.
Folks, our American century is a collection you'll treasure for years to come. I know I will. So call now.
Call 1-800-525-7755 to order our American Century for $9.99 plus $3.99 shipping. Use your credit card and get the 60s free plus a free CD. Call right now and receive your free commemorative calendar or send check or money order to our American Century, Department 5, Richmond, Virginia.
It's hard to believe, but these magnificent animals are in a fight for their very existence.
The more endangered an animal becomes, the more important each individual is.
So what is killing off the animals? And can cutting-edge science save them for the next century? Find out on Countdown to 2000, Monday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
There's no predicting what twists and turns life's road may hold in store for us. Steve Hartman has an example from a place where everybody has a story.
Nevada!
You going to Lincoln County, Nevada? Where's that?
It is out there. Way out there.
Lincoln County, Nevada is world-renowned for its UFO sightings. This could get really weird, but all I got was just another Earthling. James Prince.
I've never been abducted yet.
James Prince is president of the Nevada Bank and Trust. The bank has 7 branches and $57 million in assets, but not much of it belongs to Jim.
Well, divorces don't come cheap.
So now the bank president lives in a mobile home with his 4th wife, Rosa. His life has been an emotional roller coaster. But not long ago, Jim went from his lowest low to his highest high and said the prayer that he's convinced made all the difference.
You just don't believe it at first.
It all began, sadly, when Jim's youngest son, Troy, moved his family to Utah.
And on his way to work, his first day of work on a new job, was when he fell asleep at the wheel of the car.
In the weeks following the funeral, Jim found himself praying for, of all things, another son. It had been 30 years and 3 marriages since that thought had last seriously crossed his mind. And at this point, it wasn't at all realistic. Rosa's doctor had just told her it was time to schedule a hysterectomy, and Jim was about to celebrate his 60th birthday. But this is a family that believes prayers are answered. Ready or not. 9 months later...
Be careful what you ask for. I'll be the oldest guy in the PTA. Oh, you're a good boy, aren't you?
His name is Ross, and he's 3.
Let me help you, huh?
Jim, now 63.
Some of the people my age says, ooh, I don't envy you. In fact, they all did, come to think of it.
And yet Jim says they don't know what they're missing.
Ross watches for me out the window.
Hi, Dad.
Totally excited when I come home.
Hi, Dad.
Hi. Good shot.
He says the last 3 years have been some of the best of his life.
Oh, I'll get it.
But there is a downside to having a kid so late. And in Jim's case, it's a very serious downside.
Atta boy. See, now the doctor's going to come in and see Daddy.
Jim has Parkinson's disease.
Miss Prince.
For 8 years, it's been stealing his strength.
Really a lot of rigidity in the neck and enough to cause me a bad headache.
And although it's generally not a fatal disease, someday it will rob these moments.
That'll be a sad day. Oh, good shot. But I'm a believer in miracles, too. I had one. Maybe there's another one on the way.
And that's the story I found in Lincoln County, Nevada. No signs of alien life, but perhaps a bit of evidence that someone's up there. Steve Hartman, CBS News.
What a face. And that is the CBS Evening News. Tomorrow on Sunday morning, singer and songwriter Smokey Robinson. Then on Face the Nation, the budget stalemate, and Bill Bradley's presidential campaign. I'm Thalia Ashura, CBS News in New York. Good night, everyone.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.